Not now. After the lesson. Hearing Tae's words, Jungkook felt like his heart drop into his stomach. His nervousness grew even more. But still nodding his head and tries to concentrate on his lessons. Which is clearly impossible. Finally, after what felt like hours of silent agony, Tae set his pen down and looked directly at Jungkook. Tell me now. What's on your mind, bunny? Tae asked, his voice gentle. Jungkook's heart thudded so loudly he was sure Tae could hear it. His hands fidgeted in his lap, fingers twisting together as he tried to summon the courage to speak. The weight of Tae's gaze, intense, unwavering, and laced with that familiar commanding edge, made it nearly impossible to think straight. Jungkook's cheeks burned, and he kept his eyes fixed on the table, too shy to meet Tae's piercing stare. Mr. Kim, Jungkook's voice was barely above a whisper, trembling with the storm of emotion swirling inside him. He swallowed hard, his throat dry, and tried again. I've been thinking about what you said yesterday. Tae leaned back in his chair, his posture relaxed but his eyes sharp, drinking in every detail of Jungkook's nervous demeanor. A faint smirk tugged at the corner of his lips, but his voice remained low and deliberate, dripping with that authoritative warmth that always left Jungkook feeling small yet safe. Go on, bunny. I'm listening. The nickname sent a shiver down Jungkook's spine, and he bit his lip, his face flushing an even deeper shade of red. He wanted to hide, to curl up and avoid this moment, but Tae's presence was magnetic, pulling the words out of him despite his shyness. I don't know how to say this. I've never, no one's ever, said things like that to me before. And I'm scared. Jungkook mumbled, his voice faltering. Tae's expression softened, but only slightly. He leaned forward now, resting his elbows on the table, his long fingers steepled as he studied Jungkook with an intensity that made the younger man's breath itch. Scared of what, Jungkook? Tell me. Tae's voice was gentle but firm, leaving no room for evasion. Jungkook's hands trembled, and he pressed them against his thighs to steady himself. His big eyes flickered up to meet Tae's for a brief moment before darting away again, overwhelmed by the raw emotion he saw there. I'm scared that I won't be enough, Jungkook admitted, his voice barely audible. You're so confident, so sure of everything. And I'm just me. I'm shy, and I don't know how to be what you want. For a moment, the room was silent, the air thick with tension. Jungkook's confession hung between them, vulnerable and raw, and he braced himself for Tae's response, his heart pounding so hard it felt like it might burst. Tae's eyes darkened, not with anger but with something deeper, something possessive and fiercely protective. He stood slowly, his movements deliberate, and Jungkook's breath caught as Tae rounded the table to stand beside him. Without a word, Tae reached out, his hand gently but firmly tilting Jungkook's chin up, forcing their eyes to meet. Jungkook, you think you're not enough? Do you have any idea what you do to me? Tae said, his voice low and commanding, yet laced with a tenderness that made Jungkook's heart stutter. Tae's thumb brushed lightly across Jungkook's lower lip, and Jungkook's eyes widened, his entire body tingling at the touch. You're everything I want. Your shyness, your softness, The way you blush when I get close, it drives me crazy. Jungkook's mouth parted, but no words came out. He was frozen, caught in the intensity of Tae's gaze, the warmth of his touch, the weight of his words. Tae's hand slid from Jungkook's chin to cup his cheek, his fingers firm yet gentle, grounding Jungkook in the moment. I don't want you to be anything other than you. Tae continued, his voice dropping to a husky whisper. But I meant what I said, Bunny. I want you, completely. And I'm not a patient man. Jungkook's breath hitched, his mind spinning. The way Tae said Bunny made his knees weak, and the raw desire in Tae's eyes sent a rush of heat through him. He wanted to say something, anything, but his shyness held him back, leaving him trembling under Tae's touch. Tae's lips curved into a small, knowing smile, as if he could read every thought racing through Jungkook's mind. He leaned closer, his face mere inches from Jungkook's, his warm breath fanning across Jungkook's flushed skin. You don't have to give me an answer right now. But I need you to know something. Tae murmured, his voice a seductive purr. Jungkook's eyes fluttered, his heart hammering as Tae's hand slid to the back of his neck, fingers curling possessively. What? Jungkook stammered, his voice barely a whisper. Tae's gaze locked onto his, fierce and unrelenting. You're already mine, Bunny. You just haven't realized it yet. The words hit Jungkook like a tidal wave, stealing his breath and leaving him dizzy. His face burned, and he instinctively ducked his head, too overwhelmed to hold Tae's gaze any longer. But Tae didn't let him retreat. His grip on Jungkook's neck tightened just enough to keep him in place, a silent reminder of his dominance. Look at me. Tae commanded softly, and Jungkook's body obeyed before his mind could catch up. His wide, nervous eyes met Tae's again, and the older man's expression softened, though the intensity remained. I'm not going anywhere, Bunny. But I need you to be honest with me, and with yourself. Can you do that? Jungkook nodded, his throat too tight to speak. His heart was a chaotic mess of fear, longing, and something else. Something warm and undeniable that bloomed every time Tae looked at him like this. Tae's thumb brushed across Jungkook's cheek, a tender gesture that contrasted with the commanding edge in his voice. Good boy, Tae said, and Jungkook's entire body flushed at the praise, his shyness making him want to hide even as he craved more of Tae's attention. Tae finally released him, stepping back to give Jungkook space, but the air between them remained charged, heavy with unspoken promises. We're done with the lesson for today. But I want you to think about what I said. And when you're ready to talk, I'll be here. Tae said, his tone returning to its usual calm confidence. Jungkook could only nod, his mind still reeling. Tae gathered his things, but before he left, he paused at the door, turning to look at Jungkook one last time. His eyes softened, and a small, genuine smile curved his lips. Sweet dreams, Bunny. Don't stay up too late thinking about me. Tae said, his voice warm and teasing. With that, Tae was gone, the door closing softly behind him. Jungkook collapsed back into his chair, his hands covering his face as his heart raced. Tae's words echoed in his mind, each one searing itself into his memory. You're already mine, Bunny. You just haven't realized it yet. Jungkook buried his face in his hands, his cheeks burning. He was terrified, exhilarated, and completely overwhelmed. He didn't know how to navigate this, how to handle Ty's bold, dominating presence or the feelings that threatened to consume him. But one thing was certain, Ty wasn't giving up, and deep down, Jungkook wasn't sure he wanted him to. The next day at college, Jungkook was a nervous wreck. Every time he caught a glimpse of Ty in the hallways or during class, his heart would leap into his throat, and he'd duck his head, hoping to avoid that piercing gaze. But Ty's presence was inescapable, his deep voice and commanding aura filling every space he entered. Of course, was relentless. Cookie, you're acting weirder than usual. Did something happen with Professor Kim again? You're, extra red today. Whispered during lunch, his eyes gleaming with curiosity. Please. I can't talk about it. Jungkook groaned, burying his face in his arms on the table. Oh, come on. You're killing me here. Did he kiss you? Did you confess? What city? Pouted, poking Jungkook's side. Jungkook's face flushed even more, and he shot a pleading look. While I told him I'm scared. And he said I'm already his. Jungkook admitted quietly, his voice barely audible. Yuno's jaw dropped, his eyes wide with shock. He what? Oh my god, Cookie, that's so hot. Professor Kim is, next level intense. What did you say? I didn't say anything. I couldn't. I just froze. Jungkook mumbled, his shyness making him shrink into himself. Sighed dramatically, leaning back in his chair. I sure hopeless, Cookie. But, in a cute way. You've gotta figure this out, though. You can't keep blushing and running away forever. Jungkook knew was right, but the thought of facing Ty again, especially after those words, made his stomach twist with nerves. Still, something inside him was shifting. The fear was still there, but so was a growing certainty, a quiet realization that maybe, just maybe, he wanted to be Ty's as much as Ty wanted him to be. That evening, as Jungkook waited for Ty to arrive for their next tutoring session, his anxiety reached a fever pitch. He paced his apartment, his hands fidgeting as he rehearsed what he wanted to say. He couldn't keep avoiding this. He had to be honest, just like Ty had asked. When the knock at the door finally came, Jungkook's heart nearly stopped. He opened the door to find Ty standing there, his usual confident smirk in place, but his eyes soft with something that made Jungkook's chest ache. Hey, Bunny. Ready to face me today? Ty said, his voice low and warm. Jungkook swallowed hard, his cheeks already pink, as he whispers. To be continued.